Welcome to Wonder Woman versus the Dark Gods, the conclusion to the storyline involving her brother Jason. So to give you a quick recap, this is a storyline that we started a very long time ago. Wonder Woman discovered that she had a brother, Jason, and Jason had been hidden away from her by Zeus and the various gods a long time ago. He was then tricked into working with Grail and Darkseid, but eventually he sided back with Wonder Woman. He then was given armor intended for Wonder Woman to give him powers. Well, while this was going on, Wonder Woman went over to the Dark Knight's Metal event in which she was granted a wish, and her wish was for the return of the gods, because at this time, Zeus and the Pantheon are all dead thanks to Darkseid. Well, she didn't specify what gods she wanted to have return, and today we'll be telling you the story of her wish. This is the Comicstorian channel where we give you the recap of your favorite lore for comic books, video games, and movies. We just sit here and give it to you as an audio drama because I just enjoy doing this. And if you enjoy the video, at the ending, please consider subscribing and giving it a like. But let's go ahead and get started. Lightning strikes over the Empire Industries offices as Veronica Cale finishes signing the last of her papers when she hears someone call out to her. She looks up to see a projection of her old friend, Adriana, also known as Dr. Cyber, after being trapped within the Cyberwalker suit. Veronica says that it's a surprise to see her. She thought that they were done and over with after their last conversation. But Adriana laughs, stating that the number of firewalls she had to break down to get here, it would seem so. She has come with information. Barbara Minerva, Cheetah, has escaped from Wonder Woman's grasp and is currently free. Veronica says that she swore that Cheetah would be her property once again if she got the chance, so let the hunt for Cheetah begin. Several days later, Dr. Poison heads to the lab, radioing to Veronica that there has been a slight complication. After capturing Cheetah, she clearly didn't want to talk or share any information, but today, without warning, Cheetah slipped into a coma. She's still alive, but they'll just have to wait until. But before she could finish, Cheetah's eyes open up and she screams out, "Urtskataga!" and she rips herself from her restraints. She slashes the throat of the doctor, shouting, "Urtskataga! You're not the only god! The dark gods draw near!" Dr. Poison reports that Cheetah has broken free, but before Dr. Poison's team can stop her, Cheetah made her way into the elevators. She climbs the cables up to the shaft, and as one of Veronica's aides tell her they're awaiting orders, there's slashing sounds coming as a man screams out in pain. When Veronica looks back, Cheetah charges through, grabbing Veronica by the neck, running onto the balcony, holding Veronica above the city. She shouts that they captured her to be tested on like before. It ends now! But just before Cheetah could dig her nails into Veronica's throat, Diana tackles into Cheetah, telling her that there will be no more killed. Not even Veronica. Cheetah's body slides across the ground as she gets back up, yelling that Veronica's actions are an insult to the god, Urtskataga. She must address this insult so that she can be free. Free of Urtskataga in all ways so that she can face the next gods with a clean soul. The two exchange blows and Diana asks what is she talking about. None of this makes any sense. Just then there's a flash of light as the skies open up and Diana asks what is that? Was it the toxin on her claws? Cheetah jumps towards her but Diana bashes her with her shield, shouting, "Answer me! What is it that I just saw?" Cheetah snarls at her, telling her, "You will pay too," and she jumps off the roof to escape. Diana begins to give chase, but before she can catch up, Steve radios in asking if she's there. Diana says, please tell her that he is calling because he knows where Barbara is heading. And Steve tells her, "No, I actually called to make sure you're okay. There's been reports of people, numbering in the tens of thousands, swearing off their gods while having bouts of insanity. They all kept stating something about the next gods will come, the dark gods." Diana says that this seems similar to what Barbara was stating and how she wanted to sever her ties from Urtskataga. Steve tells Diana to just be alert out there. Cheetah can't be the only one like that with superpowers. And that's when Diana sees something coming at her out of the corner of her eye, and it hits her with enough force to send her flying to the ground. When Diana gets back up, Supergirl, with her eyes glowing red, gets ready to swing again, yelling, "Rao is dead, Wonder Woman, and you're next." Supergirl cracks Diana again, sending her through a building. And then she continues to shout, "The gods are gone! The dark gods are coming to show us the way!" Diana flies back into the fray, asking if she's even listening to herself. She is blind with rage. Supergirl tells her, "It isn't I who speaks, it is the dark gods. They talk in my head, whispers, and they tell me that Wonder Woman must not be allowed to interfere." Diana shouts that she doesn't understand, and Supergirl fires a heat vision blast, asking, "How can you say that? You are the one who summoned them! A wish, a word, you dragged them from their dimension into ours." Diana deflects the blast, telling her, "I have no idea what you're talking about. I didn't summon anyone." The two struggle for power as they crash into nearby buildings, punching into one another, and Diana grabs her lasso, throwing it onto Supergirl. Supergirl tries to free herself, yelling that she will not be snared by the likes of her! She will break her! Supergirl whips her, flinging Diana into a building, and then shoots off, dragging Diana behind her, smacking into buildings as she goes. Diana grabs onto a roof, digging in her heels, thinking to herself that back on Themyscira, using the term break was for horses. This is gonna be one of those cases. Diana pulls back on the lasso, shouting that she commands her to talk. Tell her everything about the dark gods. Meanwhile, over at the Aegean Islands, Diana's brother Jason sits with 3 beautiful women, and they all speak, finishing each other's sentences. They say that they have come at the request of his father, Gladicus, after he was freed. What is it that Jason wishes to know? Jason takes a sip of his wine, stating that they are not what he was expecting. With all due respect, the women change form, each holding a thread, asking, "Is this what you were expecting?" They change into Greek garb and then ask, "Maybe this?" And then finally into a cartoon, asking, "Perhaps this?" The 3 women shift back into their original beautiful self, stating that this is the look that they would have on a nice sunny day in the Greek Isles. Perfect guise for walking among the mortals. Nice palate cleaner every decade or so. Anyway, he didn't meet them out of curiosity. What exactly does he want with them? Jason then says, "Answers. That's what the fates give, if I'm not mistaken, right? There was a time where I vanished, no memory. And when I awoke, I had this peculiar set of armor. One that would give me the power of any god in the Greek pantheon, but only one of those powers at a time. I can't help but feel that this armor wasn't for me. I hardly know what powers to use at any given time, or when, or even why. One of the fates tells him that that's good because it wasn't meant for you. Your father Zeus created this as a weapon to fight against the dark gods. They are on their way, and soon. Even away from Earth with the other Greek deities, Zeus foresaw their coming and created the armor for the hero that he considered Earth's mightiest champion." Jason pauses when he thinks about it, and then says that this was meant for his sister, and one of the fates laughs, stating, "At least you realize that." Another says, "Unfortunately, your father died before he could bestow the armor." The rest of the pantheon, wanting to honor his wishes, assumed he created it for his son. All except Hera. She just allows you to get it to mess with you. Jason then asks, should he give the armor to Diana? And then he asks, does it look like the armor would fit her? No, of course not. It's already bonded to me and shaped to my body, literally and spiritually. It is forever mine now. I couldn't get rid of it even if I tried. He then sighs, stating, "I feel unworthy to wear this. I hardly know how to even use it." And the fates tell him that he'd better learn, and quick, because as of right now, he shouldn't even be here with them. His sister needs him. The dark gods aren't coming anymore. They're here. Using the speed of Hermes, Jason rushes out of the villa, flying over to Washington, where Diana is finishing subduing Supergirl. Steve radios back to Diana, stating that there's something coming in and fast. She needs to. But before he could finish, Diana looks up and sees Jason suddenly there yelling, "I'm here!" She flies up asking him where he's been, and he says that he went to meet the fates. They told him that the dark gods were coming and explained the armor. It was meant for her. He got it by mistake. But he'll tell her all about it later because he knows that he's not making much sense right now. Right now, the dark gods are supposed to be appearing. So, where are they, Diana? Diana points up into the sky as the lightning clouds form, stating that they're about to find out. With the sun's light, 4 giant figures appear as they push themselves through the clouds, and as they form, Jason says, okay, that's a surprise. They're monoliths and they're not doing anything? Diana tells him that she's not sure when suddenly red beams shoot out of the monolith's eyes, and Diana shouts that they need to get close and find out what they want. Just then, there's a flash of pink light, and the star Sapphires, Miri and Blas, appear grabbing Diana, and they tell her that she must come. The star Sapphires of Zamaron need her. Diana struggles to free herself, shouting, wait, but as Jason tries to help the 3 disappear. Jason looks back at the monoliths, now alone, as they continue shooting their beams, asking, what should I do? As Diana blinks, she sees the home world of the star Sapphires, the world where love is everything, dying. When she materializes, she pulls her arms free, asking why don't they listen? She can't stay here. She is needed back on Earth. Return her now. Miri tells her that at this moment she is needed here, and Diana smacks her hand, shouting, no! Earth is being invaded, and although I'm not certain how, it's apparently my fault. Bloss tells her that they understand that, but if the Dark God's arrival is her causing, then she must be held accountable here on the homeworld of the star Sapphires. Bloss points up into the sky at a monolith similar to the ones on Earth, stating that her home is not the only place where their cancer has taken root. Diana, realizing that the Dark Gods are also attacking this world, tells them, "Okay, I'm listening." And Bloss goes on to tell her that, honestly, there isn't much to go on. The monolith suddenly appeared, and with it, an entity. They fought the new entity, but the entity calling himself Carnell claims to be the god of love. Although his idea differs greatly from their own, if he does indeed mean love, then it's in its cruelest, crudest form. He can detect any slight flaw in someone's love and use it against them. Their leader, Della Farron, is strong and determined, and she fell to Carnell's attacks. She burned before their very eyes. Diana then asks, why her? She doesn't like to think that she caused all of this, and they didn't even know that she did, yet they came for her. Bloss tells her that they need a new leader, someone to lead them to victory, someone who was already once a great star sapphire. Diana thinks back to when she wore the sapphire lantern ring during the time of Blackest Night, and says that if she's going to stand amongst them, fight alongside them, she will need to look the part. All of the lanterns hold up their power rings, bestowing Diana once again with the star sapphire ring, allowing her to become one of them once more. Diana flies up into the sky to try and learn more about the monolith, but as she gets close, its eyes light up red and Carnell himself emerges shouting, "Come, Amazon! You came sooner than I had expected. Oh, I'm going to love this." She pulls out her sword asking, is he some kind of seer? Was he expecting her? And Carnell hits her with a blast of energy, stating, of course he did. Who does she think put the idea in the head of the star Sapphires? Diana deflects and strikes, asking, what are you raving about? Why would you bring me here to help the star Sapphires? Carnell brushes off Diana's attack, stating, what I want is the Earth to be free of you, so that my brethren can change your world to a semblance of ours. All without the interference of the one who summoned us. You do remember that part, right? You made a wish for the gods' return. Well, here we are, Diana. Diana says perhaps she did say that, but she meant the Greek pantheon, not. But Carnell stops her, stating, you wished for gods. You were not specific. Carnell hits Diana as she asks, why are we fighting? We have to be at war. Carnell shouts, war was declared the moment that you dragged us from our homeworld. Our beautiful world, which you regard as the dark multiverse. We see it as a paradise. We were more than just gods. We were everything. But of course, what gods want is to be worshipped or feared, preferably both. Diana grabs her lasso, asking how could he call himself a god of love then? What kind of love wants to be feared? Love is unconditional. Carnell laughs. Spoken like a true adult, naive romantic. Love always has conditions. Carnell catches the lasso, telling Diana that she evades his blast so quickly in fear of what might lurk within her own heart. So let's find out together. As Diana is finally hit, Carnell asks, unconditional? There's nothing unconditional about love. Now as I take your power, as I feed, see through my eyes who I am. In the unlikely event that you survive, you will thank me, but you will finally see the truth about love. Diana begins to see the world through Carnell's eyes all the way back to when he was a child. He was scared when he watched his father beat his mother until finally she stopped breathing. When his father looked back, his fist still dripping with his mother's blood, he ran in fear, worried that he would suffer the same fate. As a boy, he loved his mother and hated his father, both emotions, love and hate. They burned so bright that even from within the darkness of their world, the mighty King Best noticed. Their world was young, and King Best gathered his pantheon. The boy was chosen to become Carnell, who became both a man and a god. Their world was forged by the Titans, much like the reality of this world's own Greek pantheon, though their Titans destroyed 5 other realities. The energy that they gathered forged their plane of existence. Even though there are 5 now, there were 7 brothers. Without King Best as their father god, he fears for their control over their worshippers. She did that. She tore them from their realm of love and fear and control. Can she imagine how they feel? Diana fights back, stating that yes, she can, but as Carnell starts to burn Diana, there is a bright light, and together the star Sapphires hold up their rings. Bloss calls out that they asked for Wonder Woman's help, but that doesn't mean that they are helpless. As the Sapphires focus their energy on Carnell, he releases Diana before consuming her, shouting that she will use their love to kill them. Diana begins to fall, and as she snaps back to reality, she yells to everyone that they need to get back. He is far too powerful. Carnell then releases an energy blast, blowing everyone away. And Diana tells everyone that they need to get back to Zamarin to regroup. Once everybody gets back to the solid ground, Diana says that she knows how to defeat Carnell. They can, but she can't without their help. Love can be real and true, and they all know that, but instead of focusing their powers on Carnell, they will have to focus them on her. Together with their love, they will be on their way to victory. Diana flies back into the sky with the power of all the sapphires in her sword, telling Carnell that he made a mistake by showing her his origin. She holds no hate in her heart for him, only pity and love. A love made from 100-fold by her sisters around her. Does he feel it? She loves him. She takes her sword, piercing into his heart, and then Carnell stumbles back, looking at the sword. He grabs the hilt, pulling the sword back out, stating, "You better enjoy this moment. You beat a god, but only this round. I will see you back on Earth where you will face 5 of us." As Diana takes the sword, Miri says they owe her so much. She saved their core and their planet. Diana tells her that they saved them. She didn't do it alone, but now she must return so that she can see what they're up against. If she needs them, she'll send word somehow. Miri and Bloss hold out their hands, and in a flash of pink light, Diana opens up her eyes to find herself back on Earth. However, Jason is gone, and all she can see are the monoliths. During the time of Diana's abduction, Jason watched as his sister disappeared, and he realized that he was now alone. However, even alone, he knows that he must do something, fight against them somehow. Jason notices a group of worshippers on a nearby building, and when he looks back at the monoliths, he sees that there are only 3 of them, and one is larger. If he were to use the wisdom of Athena, maybe he could learn something about them. Soon, there is a rumble from the 3 smaller monoliths, and Jason watches as the gods appear before him. The female on the black hood and horns is Mob God, goddess of chaos and order, the order of mob rule and the order of riot. The second ghostly figure is the god with no name, the god of doubt and the god of nothing. The third is in a red mask with flaming hair, and they are Savage Fire, the goddess of war. Not war for some ideal of common good, but of power and profit. War of blood. The fourth, however, remains intact, not showing its true form. Jason flies closer to the 3 gods as Savage Fire shouts that she could feel the power of the old god Ares within him. Let's go to war! As Savage Fire attacks, Mob God flies down to the people in the nearby building, casting a spell on them, telling them to do as she commands and leap to your death. Using his wind, Jason blows out Savage Fire's attacks and quickly activates Hermes' speed to catch the jumping civilians. The god with no name begins to cast his magic, draining the people of their very life, and Jason calls upon the spear Polly that he named after his mother. He throws it at the god with no name, asking himself if it will hit, and as the god with no name phases, allowing the spear to pass through him, Jason says, "I figured that would happen." He calls back the spear, but before he could throw it again, Savage Fire takes the form of a fiery winged creature, grabbing him, asking, "What do you think I've done with you?" She throws him into a car, asking, "Is that all there is of you? I hoped for more, a true battle." But that's when a red and blue blur shoots by and Supergirl punches with both fists straight into Savage Fire's head. Supergirl starts to fall from the sky, and as Jason catches her, she says punching a god like that with so much magical energy sure takes a lot out of her. Jason says that he's glad that she came, but he thought Diana, and Supergirl stops him, stating that those insane gods possessed her using their energy. Supergirl looks up at the one large monolith and says, "There just seems to be one that hasn't become real yet." And Jason tells her that King Best is waiting. Steve then radios in, stating that it's all good because he sent in some people to help figure out what he's waiting for. Jason looks at the Justice League, shouting, "Thank God!" And Batman asks, "Is that an attempt at humor? Which god do you want to thank?" Jason stutters, stating, just saying how relieved I am to see you guys." Batman then asks, "What can you tell me beyond what we already know?" And Jason says, "Well, although there are 4 dark gods on Earth, there's possibly 5 in total. Diana was taken away by the star Sapphires to possibly help with the 5th, but that big one there, he's the leader, King Best." Martian Manhunter then says, "We need to have a closer look." And as he flies off, Jason says, "You make it sound so simple. How do you do that?" Hawkgirl follows behind, stating that she's new here too. Just do what she does. Watch and learn. However, as the Justice League gets closer, King Best looks at them, holding out his arm, absorbing all of them but Jason. He stares around, realizing that no one is there to assist him anymore, and states, "Oh, this isn't good." And then King Best smacks him away. King Best falls to earth, landing on his feet, causing an earthquake, stating, "Let it begin." Jason pulls himself out of the crater that he was knocked into, stating, "I'm not done yet." And King Best looks at him, stating, "Ah, you are the old god's son." Just as Jason is about to get hit with a fiery blast, Diana runs in, shielding him, and Jason shouts, "Boy, am I glad to see you. This might be a bit beyond me." She tells him it's not beyond him. He just needs the right person to be with, and now that she is here, they will face these dark gods together. The two get ready for battle as Steve radios in, filling Diana in on what they're up against. She tells him that if they bring down King Best, the rest should fall. As Diana begins her attack, King Best asks if her anger is truly directed at him or at herself for bringing them here. Diana swings at King Best's face, stating that she may have brought them here, but she will send them back. Together, Diana and Jason begin their assault with enough power to throw King Best off balance. She flies in, grabbing King Best by the chest, lifting him up, throwing him into the Atlantic Ocean, stating that this should give them enough time to deal with the others. The two split off as Jason follows up on the reports in South America that that's where Savage Fire went. Diana then stops by Steve's airship to find out where she needs to go because they just don't know where all of these gods have vanished to. But as Steve gets ready to give his report, one of the soldiers mentions that they got word that all the dark gods vanished. So she asks what could that mean? And the second soldier runs up stating that they got new sightings. They've all gathered in one place, including King Best. They're over the skies of Paraguay. Without a word, Diana rushes off to the jet, making her way to where her brother went, and as she arrives, Jason attacks her, asking if she's looking for him. She catches herself shouting for him to wait. He can't let the dark gods influence his mind and drive him mad. He strikes again, knocking Diana to the ground, telling her, "I'm not mad, I'm more sane than I've ever been. I see everything clearly now. The Greek gods are nothing. All praise the dark gods." Diana charges in, trying to take on King Best, but now with Jason turned against her, she's easily overpowered. She spins back, cracking Jason with her shield, yelling for him to resist it. He is better than this. He hits her back with the lightning of Zeus, telling her, "I will use the power of our dear dead half-brother Hercules to finish you off." Jason pulls back, hitting Diana with all of his strength, sending her flying across the city. But before he leaves, he tells the dark gods, "Fear not, he will take care of her." She crashes down on the nearby forest, and as she crawls out of the hole, she begs Jason not to do this, please. But Jason floats down, telling her to steady herself. "Everything is fine. I'm fine. All the fighting, the drama, I did it to get you away from here. The dark gods think I'm under their control, but I managed to trick their senses so that they would believe it." Diana asks him how, and he laughs, telling them, "I have the power of the Greek gods, including Dalos, the god of lies. I was working out a way to defeat them, that is, using the power of Athena, but you are the only one that they seem to fear." Diana says that is true. Carnell mentioned something about keeping her with the star Sapphires and away from Earth. Maybe her being there can be used against them. Jason tells her yes, it will definitely require both of them to work together, and it may hurt. Seconds later, Jason slams Diana into the ground before the dark god, shouting, "There! I would have wrapped her up in a bow if I had more time. You can now possess my sister, add her to your ranks." King Best looks down, stating, "I could lie, but lies are beneath one such as I. Her power is one that we fear cannot be contained. The fact that she brought us here to this reality makes her unique in that regard." Jason yells, "No! Just like lies, fear is beneath you too, O great King Best. Possess her! Show her that your power is still greater." King Best quietly stares, and soon the world warps as it changes into the world of King Best's mind. Jason whispers to Diana that they are here in their subconscious. It's time to wake up. She slowly begins to wake up, stating that she never felt such a deep sleep before. And Jason tells her, "That's because of Morpheus, the god of sleep." As Diana gets up to her feet, King Best asks, "How dare you deceive me?" And Jason says, "Well, Pythio is the god of persuasion." Quite the bachelor pad, I must say. Diana grabs her sword, and Jason tells her not to worry. They are on their side of the fence where they are more vulnerable. And she is the one that they fear. So go get him, Wonder Woman. Diana rushes in, hitting Mob God and King Best, telling Jason that they will both be crushed. And Jason says, "No, I will sit here and listen. My sister is always going to be better at this than me." King Best then says that he will simply eject her from this plane. "We will always be greater than them." Jason asks, "Are you really? On the outside, Diana would never stop coming for you. If she is what you fear, then she will see it through to the end." Diana continues to beat on the other gods, and Jason says, "You could make us an offer. Your only chance and best chance you'll get since we came to Earth." King Best asks, "What chance is that exactly?" And Jason tells him, "The one thing that you desire above all else, to go home. I will allow you to absorb me." Diana screams, "No!" realizing what Jason is offering. But Jason goes on to explain, "If you absorb me, you will have the power and the energy of the whole Greek pantheon. With my power augmenting yours, I'm sure you will be able to get back to your reality. King Best pauses and then asks, "You deceived me once before. I am wary. Why would you offer yourself in such a way?" Jason then says, "There are conditions. You return the Justice League and you undo all the madness you caused here, and you leave Earth forever." King Best begins to weigh his options, and then suddenly Jason and Diana are back in the real world with all of the dark gods back in their monoliths. Diana looks to Jason asking, "Are you out of your mind? You just gave yourself to the dark gods." And Jason tells her, "Look, I may have kept a few things to myself, but hey, they're inanimate again, probably considering my offer." Diana tells him that she can't let him do this. He would be a webbed up zombie just as the others were. There has to be another way. She is the one who made the stupid wish. She cannot lose him now. Please. She only recently discovered she even had a brother. Jason looks away, stating that the dark gods are too powerful. Sure, they have the edge right now, but even if she does defeat them, what would the cost be? What would be left on Earth? Diana begins to cry, telling him that he will just be in a state of living death forever. And Jason says that's a sacrifice heroes sometimes have to make. And today, I get to be the hero, sister. The two hug. King Best says that they agree to his terms. Be one with them, brother of the Amazon. Light begins to shine, and Diana yells for them to wait. Before she can do anything, Jason disappears. In the blink of an eye, the Justice League is returned, and Batman asks, "How do we get out?" Diana cries, stating her brother. He gave himself for them. And King Best calls out that, as agreed, they will go. Pray to whichever gods remain here, that we never have a reason to return. Diana charges at the group, shouting that she will not let them go, but as they fade, the god with no name tells her, "You will do nothing." As the month passes, Diana stands on a battleship with Steve, and he asks, "So you didn't get a chance to say goodbye?" She says no, but she's kind of glad it happened that way. Goodbyes feel so final. Knowing her brother is out there somewhere, without a farewell or a goodbye, she'll have hope to see him once again one day. Steve says that he's wary of Jason after everything with Grail and Darkseid, but he really pulled through this time. And Diana sighs, stating that he got his wish. He wanted to save the world and become a hero. But she is not some delicate China doll. It's been a rough month, but she'll prevail. Diana and Steve kiss, but as Diana pulls away, she says, "Ouch." Steve laughs, stating, Fine, I'll shave when I get back." And Diana tells him he better. He heads out, and Diana begins to fly over the sea, telling herself that this won't be the end. She will look ahead and beyond, with those that she misses. Jason, her mother, the Amazons of Themyscira, all in her ear. She will look for a better tomorrow. And that is the conclusion to the Dark Gods storyline and the Jason storyline. This actually brings all of the Wonder Woman storylines we've done to an end and concludes the Wonder Woman plot. Moving on, we now have G. Willow Wilson taking over writing duties on this title, and it has a whole new storyline that has started up recently. So we'll get to it eventually, probably closer to the Wonder Woman 1984 movie, but that's pretty much it. Let me know, what do you guys think about the entire storyline of Wonder Woman as a whole at this point, and what happened in the Rebirth storyline with the Greg Rucka run, where she discovered that she had never been back to Themyscira, and then we discovered like her true villains, and now we discovered the Dark Gods, some DC metal. Overall, thank you guys for joining us today. Thank you for your support, and I'll see you next time right here at Comicstorian.